call the October meeting of the Area Plan Commission to order. Can I have roll call, please?
Brian Baker, Kevin Beaver, James Chrisman, Terry Clark, Mark Klinkenbeard,
Here.
John Collette, Norm Proderman,
Here.
Don Folk, John Hanley,
Here.
Marcus Mauer,
Here.
Debbie May, Amanda Thompson, William Burdine,
Here.
Fred Wilson.
We do have a quorum. Could I ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I assume everyone has had an opportunity to review the minutes and status report. Are there any corrections or comments? Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We don't have any public comments on agenda items that you're aware of. Okay. Executive Director's report.
Good evening. Two things real quick. We do have an agenda item that has been added last minute under J. We'll cover that here in just a second.
Okay.
You have in front of you a packet, a sub-packet that we put out. The majority of the materials in there are all remonstrance to various agenda items. More specifically, all but one in here, all are for one agenda item. And I'll call that out once we get there.
Okay.
Okay?
Sydney?
I was asked to participate on a panel for IDNR, so I'm going to be going to a panel to speak and represent floodplain managers and try to help a discussion on how IDNR can better communicate with communities. So I think that is going to be something good. And Penny and I are also going to be participating with the city on a child care zoning workshop.
Any questions from anyone on the planning commission for our director or assistant director?
No.
Entertain a motion.
Move to accept.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Doesn't appear that we had any plat committee reports this month, and you did say under J you had a communication received.
I do, yes. This morning we received an email from the executive assistants to the mayor, Mayor Sackman. He recently started a mayor's youth council in the city of Terre Haute. One of the objectives of the council is to give students a look into how different boards are conducted. He had listed our board, the area planning board, as one of the boards he wished to place 2 or 3 students from his council on so that they could see how we impact the community. The student would not have a voting role.
Good.
Any discussion from anyone on the planning commission about that possibility? I guess I would suggest, given our agenda tonight, that further discussion might take place, and in fact that's something we want to entertain, maybe we do something like that in the first of the year.
Yeah, we can. In order to actually physically add members to this board, it would require a change in the bylaws. So we would have to advertise that, and then you would have to approve of the change in the bylaws. Certainly, those students or any members of the public are welcome to attend the meetings and speak on any agenda items without being on the board. But also, staff would be willing to submit to that group our packet materials like you receive each month, so that they can have an advanced look at their comments to submit to this board. That would be an alternative rather than going through the formal process of permanently amending bylaws.
Well, I would think that would be something we would probably be more in favor of, than to actually completely change the structure, given that this is a new venture from this new mayor to establish something with an advisory council that may not be in place later on. We'll have some more discussion about that later, unless anybody
I will also reach out.
wants to weigh in.
I'll reach out to the mayor's office to see how we can better incorporate this group into our group without having to do
Right.
structural changes.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
I
good.
think that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay. So it looks like the first item on the agenda under new business, city rezonings, docket number 67, special ordinance number 34-24, 2024, 2 and 50 East Market Avenue, 2901 and 2929 South First Street, 2900 and 2914 Harwood Street from a C3 and R3 general residence district.
The current zoning is C3 Regional Commerce District. The proposed zoning is R3 General Residence District. The proposed use is 120 multifamily apartment units across 2 residential buildings and a detached clubhouse. The property owner is Kenneth Steiner Jr. It's a regional commercial district, or area. To the north, there's R1, C6, and C3. To the east, there's C2 and R1, C3 to the south, and C2 and R3 to the west. The lots were rezoned to C3 in 2023 with the proposed use of an equipment rental company. The property owner is now requesting to rezone the property to R3, where 120 multifamily apartments across 2 buildings and a detached clubhouse called Wabash Place Apartments. The site plan that was provided utilized the Unified Zoning Ordinance rather than city code, so alterations may need to be made to the site plan or variances obtained. There are apartment buildings to the east as well. For the 2023 rezoning, the Department of Engineering noted there are plans to widen Margaret Avenue to accommodate higher traffic volumes. In their recommendation for this rezoning, they stated that the intended use would not alter the neighborhood's characteristic or create any significant problems for the surrounding area. The Department of Engineering provided a favorable recommendation for the zoning. Staff also offers a favorable recommendation with the following conditions: site plan approval by the Department of Engineering with parking and stormwater drainage.
The petitioner's present.
Yes, my name is Marissa Knatzer, and I'm representing Kenneth Steiner on the
Okay.
project.
All right.
So I handed out just a brief packet of information, a little bit about who we are at TWG Development, and then just a photo of the surrounding zoning of the site and a site plan that we have currently. It is a very brief site plan. Before we got too far in the process, wanted to make sure that this was something that was feasible and reasonable for the city and the county. So that is what we have put together so far, but plans are in very early stages.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have or provide any more information.
Okay. Anybody on the planning commission have any questions? Anyone here speaking in opposition to this request? Not will entertain a motion. Okay, go ahead.
What are these apartments that we mainly include hours?
So they are not age restricted. Anyone from 18 and up can live there. There is a variation of incomes that are welcome, primarily workforce housing. So again, various incomes can live there, trying to keep rents as affordable as possible. We will have activities and services for the senior community, primarily 62 and up, and then also family services with a playground, community rooms with games, and intergenerational programming to connect some of the younger residents with some of the older seniors to help foster a bit more sense of community. Parking, you said? Yes, so we currently have 223 parking spaces on site, and that was just the quick layout that our architects put together. They are fully on board and under the understanding that we need to put some more on there because that was following the county's parking guidelines and not the city's parking guidelines. So 2 options are really on the table for us. One, we have that very large detention pond on site. It would be considering shrinking some of that down to add additional parking or doing fully underground detention so that we could completely remove that and add additional parking there.
Anything else?
Motion for approval.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next item under new business, city rezoning, docket number 72, special ordinance number 35, 2024, 231 Blakely Avenue, from a C3 SU to an R3 general residence district.
Current zoning is C3 SU Regional Commerce District Special Use. Proposed zoning is R3 General Residence District. The proposed use is a fraternity house. The proposed owner is, forgive me, Theta?
Xi.
Xi, okay. Kappa Chapter Alumni Association Corp. It is a neighborhood conservation district according to the Thrive. There is M2 to the north and R3 to the east, west, and south. There have been 4 rezoning petitions for the property since 1968. It has changed zoning several times. Their area is predominantly R3. There will need to be hard surface parking and stormwater drainage plan approved by engineering. In their recommendation, the Department of Engineering states the intended use would not alter the neighborhood's characteristics or create any significant problems for the surrounding area. Staff offers a favorable recommendation with the following conditions: site plan approval by the Department of Engineering with parking and stormwater drainage.
Mr. Felling.
Mr. President, members of the commission, Eddie Felling from Linden Felling Law Office, here representing the Theta Xi Alumni Association. I think you can all hopefully kind of picture where this building is located. It's been vacant since I can remember. Last I recall, and the reason why I believe it's zoned the way that it is, there was plans to make it a bar or restaurant maybe 20 years ago. I think it was back when I was in high school, if not before. The Rose Hallman fraternity that's hoping to move in is going to relocate from the Grove over to the east side of town. They are attempting to raise, and they're well on their way to raising approximately $1.2 million that they're going to invest into this building. Really going to be a nice upgrade. I was informed today, even though I didn't know it, this was originally the W.O. Weddell, maybe, school that was built back in 1910. It was an elementary school. But again, it's sat vacant for quite some time. With regard to parking, there will be plenty of on-site parking. We'll be able to meet all the code requirements. It's currently not hard surface, but they will make it a hard surface parking lot with plans for 17 total spaces on site. And again, they're hoping to have the first phase of their project done within the next 18 months and to get some of their guys moved in before the start of the 2026 school year. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'm also here with Dr. Zach Chambers, who's a professor at Rose and is the advisor for the local chapter. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Anyone on the blank, please, any questions? Anyone here speaking in opposition to this request? Now I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Next item under new business, city rezoning docket number 73, special ordinance number 36, 2024, 145 Voorhees Street from an R3 to a C4 restricted central business district.
You do have a handout at your first page there, and the handout is from Tommy Kleckner. He is from the Indiana Landmarks Western Regional Office. So I'll add some information about that in. The property owners are Rest Enterprises LLC. Proposed use is hotel, retail, and storage. Proposed zoning is C4 Restricted Central Business District. Current zoning is R3 General Residence District. The property is located on the southwest side of Voorhees Street and Harding Avenue. It is, to the north is M2, R1 to the west and south, and C5, R1, and C6 to the east. The petitioner is requesting to rezone the property for hotel, retail, and storage. The site plan was not detailed other than showing the general area where future buildings will be located. The site plan will be needed to be approved by the Department of Engineering with the required parking and setbacks. The pre-existing building was previously the Greenwood School. The structure has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places since September 26, 1997. The areas of significance were noted as education and architecture. In an email, Tommy Kleckner, Director of Indiana Landmarks Western Regional Office, provided the following information. The National Register of Historic Places is first and foremost an honorific program. It does not restrict property rights whatsoever, so long as federal funds aren't being used in a project that may affect the building structure's historic appearance or character. The National Register listing does open up certain financial incentive programs. No matter the owner's decision about federal rehab tax credits, We always advocate for an appropriate rehabilitation of historic properties, particularly those of more impressive architectural character such as Greenwood School. Past and appropriate changes such as replacement windows don't have to be undone, though installation of appropriate replacement windows can help transform a property. We encourage retaining as much historic fabric and as many historic features as possible, especially what are referred to as character-defining features. In the case of Greenwood School, some of these character-defining features include the decorative terracotta on the exterior and the impressive stairways, glazed brick wainscoting, original doors and trim, and shop doors. The area is a mixed use of residential, commercial, and manufacturing. If approved, a new address or addresses will need to be assigned. The Department of Engineering offered a favorable recommendation. Staff did offer a favorable recommendation with site plan approval by the Department of Engineering with parking in stormwater district.
Mr. Shagley.
Good evening, Mr. Acting President, fellow members of the commission. My name is Richard Shagley. I'm with the law firm of Wright, Shagley & Lowry. And tonight I'm here on behalf of Russ Enterprises LLC. And as was previously stated, Russ Enterprises owns 145 Voorhees as well as that entire block. It is currently zoned R3. Tonight we're asking it to be rezoned C4 for, as stated, a remodel of the existing building and turn it to hotel and then some retail space as well as some storage. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Mike? That noise is you. It's just staff. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Nope. Anyone here speaking in opposition to this request? Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda under new business, subdivisions with county rezonings. Docket number 74, file number 38, 2024, RSBR Prairie Center.
This petition does also have an accompanying rezoning. Would you like the subdivision and rezoning
Sure.
currently? Or
Is it the
separately?
next item, the docket number 70, the rezoning?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. So we'll start with the subdivision. The property does not have an assigned address. It's located on the east side of Highway 63, south of Kennett Drive, 22.08 acres. The surveyor is Mr. Sluis. The request is to create 2 new lots, one of which is to be used for commercial development. The plat does indicate the current zoning of A1, but depicts the C2 setbacks. Health Department is still pending. The site will need commercial permits from the state of Indiana Health Department, as sanitary sewer is not available and septic must be utilized. Public water is available. It's not in the flood zone. Lots exceed the minimum lot size requirements. Stormwater drainage will be required with the major subdivision. As previously noted, this does have an accompanying rezoning, but can be approved independently of that petition. A road cut permit will be needed from NDOT. NDOT may also request road upgrades to facilitate safe ingress, egress. We offered a favorable on the primary and secondary of the subdivision. With road cut permit from NDOT, improvements to Highway 63 to facilitate safe ingress and egress, drainage erosion control plan, bonding for infrastructure if needed, fire department approval, report within 90 days, and then health department approval as well. Moving on to the rezoning. So we do know the property is located on the east side of State Road 63, approximately 410 feet south of the intersection of West Kennett Drive. It is currently A1 agricultural, proposed a C2 community commercial district for a proposed use of retail store. The property owners, John and James Drake, represented by Mr. Britton. The area is primarily suburban residential in nature. Development priority in the area is medium intensity residential. All surrounding uses are agricultural. This request, as we know, does have an accompanying subdivision. The petitioner is requesting a rezoning to C2 Community Commercial District for the proposed use of a retail sales store or Dollar General. This location will be under the 10,000 square foot maximum allowed in the C2. Questions of sewer and water and other available utilities to the location have been answered by the subdivision request. Common concerns can be raised with this location, as have been with previous locations. Items such as trash, lighting, and landscaping may need to be addressed. As with any commercial development, hard surface parking will be required. Eagle County Engineering must approve stormwater drainage and erosion control plans. Residential does adjoin immediately to the east. Special attention should be paid to noise and light pollution intruding into the surrounding neighborhood. A type C buffer will be required and is depicted on the site plan. We've seen a number of similar developments in outlying areas of Eagle County in the past few years. The business model for these type stores places convenience within reach of areas not otherwise served. We do offer favorable on the C2 community commercial districts with the following conditions: approval of the major subdivision, a type C buffer yard where residential joins, approval of the stormwater retention design, NDOT approval of the road cut design and location, and any improvements needed to State Road 63 to safely facilitate egress and egress. This is where the bulk of your packet comes in. You'll find in there several letters of remonstrance as well as a petition with a number of signatures. Out of deference for your time and everybody else's here, I'm not going to go through and read each of these letters because I have a feeling there are a number of persons here who would be willing to speak in person as to the contents of these letters.
Okay. Mr. Britton?
Mr. President, members of the commission, my name is Lou Britton. I'm an attorney with Cox's, Warner, Gamble, and Sullivan. I'm representing the petitioner. Just for purposes of subdivision, which get a better sense of where we're on. This is Prairieton Road. This is Prairieton. I mean, the public will know that the church is to the south of Prairieton, right on 63. The subdivision is taken out of this large field right here. It's approximately 550 people on this side, 230. Couldn't get exactly the road. I think it's actually 230, not 229. And that one gets to the 300. So you're a little ways south of the town of Prairieton, south of that. That's the subdivision. Also here with me is the engineer for the project, Dave Peters, with Chamlin and Associates. We've reviewed the subdivision requirements, and there are no concerns with complying with those. We understand all those requirements and see no reason that we won't be able to meet those requirements. I want to thank the staff for their preparation of the excellent report with regard to the proposed rezoning. That report contains much of the basic information about that rezoning. As the staff indicated, the request is to change from A1 to C2 for a 9,100 square foot Dollar General store. Entrance would be off of State Road 63. The parcel that is to be divided off is surrounded entirely by farm ground, as you can see from that drawing. It's approximately 350 feet from the northern boundary of the parcel to the church that I pointed out on the map. It's 500 feet from the southern end of that subdivision to a subdivision that lies to the south. 500 feet. Approximately 280 feet from the eastern boundary of that subdivision to this street on which there are 3 houses behind this parcel. This is an 80-acre field owned by the property owner. On this piece marked in red here. Yeah, well, no. Right here. Here in this red. That's the subdivision, and that's where the house is. There is a tree line, heavy tree line right here that runs along the front of the subdivision property line. And it's 500 feet from here to here. So we have the end of the dog. Closest one would be more than 3 miles.
Let Lou go ahead and make his presentation, and then I'll ask if anybody on the planning commission has any questions.
highlight what the area looks like. This, here, I'll just go back. Bring myself out. This photograph was taken showing essentially the subject property, taken from near this tree line here, which would be the southern boundary of the property, looking generally east. But you can see, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get right in your face. This is the church right here. You can see it on this picture is taken from approximately the same place at a slightly different angle. And you can see there's another tree line back here, which basically aligns with this street back here. If we go to these photographs, this is a photograph taken from the church parking lot, looking generally south. The highway out here, the property would be over here, and that's this tree line. And, come back around here. The next photo, you have to jump over the tree line. That's taken from, orient back on the map, east. The last photo was taken from here, looking this way. This photo was taken from over here, south of that tree line. Looking generally south, and you can see there are some homes over here. Those are the homes that are on the road 500 feet from the southern boundary of the property. This is a picture of the church. I was out there, I took a picture, and I think kind of a pretty church, so to speak, and it does show up in those other photos. And this is, not exactly a professional photographer, that's the good of my truck. This is a commercial building that is located just north of the church. I don't think it's owned commercial building. As you can see, this proposed site is located well away from any residential property and is unlikely to cause any difficulty for any of the surrounding property owners. It is extremely isolated from any adjoining property. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer, but we'd appreciate passage of both the subdivision and the zoning. Thank you.
Thanks. Now, any questions from anyone on the planning commission? Mark, I think you had a couple.
Yes, I have a few questions I'd like to ask. My name is Mark Klinkenbeard, and I'm Vigo County Commissioner, and if this passes tonight, I'll be one of three, approving it or not later on. So I've done a lot of research, reached out to a lot of the people, and I do have some questions. First off, what do you plan to do, or what do they plan to do with the second lot that is going to be made out of this?
They will not purchase that lot. They purchase only the lot that the store will sit on. It will remain with the property owner.
But that second lot, are they request, that's still going to be?
The rezoning is only for the.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Okay,
It's only the subdivided lot. Yes.
Okay, so do you represent the Dollar General store also?
Yes.
You do, okay. Do you know, how many more do you plan to have in the county? What's the goal?
I have no idea. Those decisions are made way higher, way above my pay grade.
Okay. So this is a company store, not local ownership. Will they have do you have a regional, do they have a regional manager? Like who do people call with issues? Because there are issues with Dollar General stores and the like, trash, things like that. So I think that's part of people's frustration, part of my frustration, is that there is no one that we know of to call when there's a problem.
Well, there's certainly an on-site manager, so that would be the first point of contact.
Okay. And are there any plans to put a fence around this building?
Well, they are required, to the extent where they would adjoin any residential use, to have buffer zones, as pointed out in the report. They have pretty much a built-in buffer zone along the south side. They will fence extend a fence from the building to the dumpster holding area and keep that fenced in to hold down on the possibility of blowing trash, boxes and debris sitting around. So that will be screened from public view.
Okay. All right. Just a statement. I'm very pro-business. This is a big investment, and we do appreciate that. But I certainly understand the homeowners' issues down there. So.
Anyone else on the planning commission have any questions? Go ahead.
I just have, I guess, a quick question that I've noticed in the remonstrance letters, the concerns with traffic and the distance to other Dollar Generals. So can you speak at all to, I'm guessing this is a big corporation that's making a significant investment and they've done a market study. Can you speak at all to the market they intend to serve? The reasoning why?
Yeah, well,
Why they may be in the locations they are?
sure. Dollar General, they estimate that a store is intended to serve about 2,000 people. So if there are 2,000 people in the surrounding area, that's sufficient for them to think it's worth having a store there. And why is that? That's because they're obviously not a big box store. They're not Walmart. They're not Sam's Club. They're not a destination store. They're a store where people stop on their way home to pick up something that they just thought, oh, wait a minute, I'm out of whatever. I need that. They'll stop there and get it. On their way to work, they think of something that they need to pick up. They'll stop into a Dollar General and pick it up. Rather than making a special trip to a big box store and going through that whole process, walking half a mile back to get a carton of milk at the back of Walmart, you can drop into a Dollar General store, pick up your carton of milk, walk out the door, and you're done. You don't have to drive 5 miles to get there, 10 miles to get there. You don't have to park half a mile away on a giant parking lot. They intend to serve convenience for people. That's their purpose. That's the reason there's more than one in this area. Now, Dollar General refers to it as fill-in shopping. People don't go there to do their shopping for the week, to buy all their groceries for the week, or to buy all of their household cleaning products for the week. They on the way home and say, hey, I need to clean the oven. I don't have any oven cleaner. I pull into Dollar General and I get oven cleaner and I go home. That's their business model. Now, and I don't mean this to sound terse, but the purpose of the Area Plan Commission is to plan land use. The purpose of the Area Plan Commission is not to pick a particular user for a particular property, but to define a kind of use that is appropriate for a piece of property based on the property. The fact that Dollar General has a business model that means they have stores that are within 4 miles of each other is not something that's really a plan commission consideration. That's a free market consideration. Does it make sense business-wise for Dollar General to have a store located within 3 miles, 5 miles, 1 mile of another store? That's a business decision that in a free enterprise economy ought to be made by the business. In some countries, they have a central planning department that tells every business where they're going to locate and when they're going to locate and how they're going to build their store, and we don't do that. We're not run by some central party organization out of the Capitol. So the question here is this an appropriate place to have a commercial use? Okay. Not is it too close to another store? And I'm old enough to remember when we had what are called corner markets. Probably most of you aren't, but you've seen the remnants of them. There are old corner markets all over this city, all over this, some of them within a block of each other. Why? Because it was convenient for the people in the neighborhood to be able to walk to the corner market and get their meat for the day, because maybe refrigeration wasn't quite as good and you needed to buy meat on a more regular basis. You couldn't count on buying a piece of meat at Walmart on Friday and cooking it 2 weeks from now. You bought a piece of meat at the local corner market, you took it home, you cooked it. That was convenience. Those stores are pretty much all gone. I kind of see Dollar General as the replacement for those old corner markets. So, you know, what's old is new again. And again, the question before this body is this an appropriate land use? I'm sorry, I probably spoke too long. Was there another part to the question that I missed?
No, that was it. I do think something this body can determine, no, not just strictly is it commercial or not, but there's different types of commercials. There's commercials that serve large areas, there's commercials that serve neighborhoods, there's commercials that serve regional, and that was kind of the gist of, who's it going to serve.
Well, and this is a C2, which is a community commerce zone. It's intended to serve the immediate community, not of people from 10 miles away. So, and that's who it's going to serve. Nobody's going to drive from south end of Terre Haute to this store unless they're going by there anyway. I've got a cabin on a lake near Clay City that I go to. And about every time I go down there, by the time I get to Clay City, I think, uh-oh, I forgot something. There's a Dollar General in Clay City. I pull into the Dollar General and get whatever it is I forgot, usually cookies. And then I go on to the cabin. So that's, and if you talk to them, they'll tell you that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for somebody to come in and buy a tape worth of groceries that long. They're looking for somebody to walk out with 4 or 5 items.
John?
Mine was just more just pointing out, making sure I'm reading this right. There's only access off of 63, correct?
That's correct. And that will require NDOT approval and, very likely acceleration, deceleration lanes, all sorts of things.
You succeeded in making me feel very old. I grew up 3 doors down from Woody Corey's Market. That did not cause us not to go to Great Scott for the weekend that I made many trips.
I grew up a block away from the Apple House on North Lafayette.
Yeah,
And there was an A&P.
right.
You really want to feel old. There was an A&P right across the street from that.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone on the board? I assume there are those that would like to speak in opposition to this. If you do, please come up to the microphone, give us your name and address, and then we'll be happy to hear from you.
My name's Cindy Morgan. My address is 85 Heritage Drive, Terre Haute, Indiana. I represent the Prairieton United Methodist Church. I'm on the Board of Trustees. We have our petition. I'll read our petition, and then we have some speakers who are going to take specific topics, and then we have a lot of other people who would like to join in. We, the residents of Prairieton, Indiana, are deeply concerned about the proposed construction of a Dollar General store in our peaceful rural residential area. We're a community rooted in tranquility and beauty of our surroundings. This area is home to low-density residential homes and farmland. It's a setting we wish to preserve. The proposed construction of the Dollar General threatens to disrupt our peace. The proposed location is southeast of the intersection of Kennett and Highway 63, and you've got the parcel numbers. The traffic in front of the site where the store is planned to be built is already dangerous. Adding more traffic will only increase the risk of accidents. There are no sidewalks or bike paths leading to the proposed site. In addition, turning lanes, safe pedestrian access, and lower speed limits would need to be added. With more traffic brought by this new commercial establishment, we fear more accidents and potential loss of life or injury. According to data from the National Highway Traffic Association Administration, rural areas account for disproportionate numbers of traffic fatalities considering their population size. At the Prairieton United Methodist Church, which borders the proposed rezoning site to the north, the Board of Trustees states that the fence directly in front of the church on Highway 63, and I can testify to this, has been hit by vehicles so many times that we decided the fence was more of a hazard than a safeguard, and we removed the fence. The area proposed for rezoning sits in this accident-prone zone. We petitioned for the developer to perform a traffic impact study to ensure the safety of traffic and pedestrians. Moreover, numerous studies have shown that such developments can lead to lower property values due to change in landscape, increased crime, and additional strain on infrastructure and emergency responders. As homeowners who take pride in our properties and community, this prospect is deeply troubling. We petitioned that an environmental study be performed to investigate what the commercial well will do to residents' water well levels. In addition, the environmental study must investigate if the commercial septic system will have a negative effect on groundwater quality. We petition that the developer test for percolation to ensure retention ponds don't flood adjacent homes. Property values also decreased due to increased crime associated with Dollar General stores. Many Dollar General stores are sparsely staffed, sometimes with only a single worker manning the register, and lack security guards or staffers at entrances according to workers and experts. As a result, the stores have gained a reputation for being easy targets for criminals who believe that they can just walk in and get money from the cash register. A Dollar General store in this area will also put additional strain on community infrastructure, the Prairieton Volunteer Fire Department, and emergency responders. There are already 15 Dollar General stores in Vigo County and 2 within a 4-mile radius of the proposed site, with the nearest being located only 4.1 miles away. With additional dollar stores in Farmersburg and Shelburne serving rural area residents, we do not need another Dollar General store. We understand that businesses can bring economic benefits, but not at the expense of safety, tranquility, and property value decline in residential areas such as ours. Dollar General has been cited numerous times for serious safety violations that endanger workers and shoppers, from exposed electrical wiring to inaccessible emergency exits to serious rodent infestations. Dollar Generals are inundating the Terre Haute area. They're edging out locally owned businesses, freezing out entrepreneurs, and shifting profits from local cash registers to corporate investors' pockets. They replace good jobs with lower paying ones, and they often use tactics that trick shoppers into believing they're getting bargains. The loss of smaller competitors isn't accidental. It's monopoly strategy. Because of their massive market power and cash reserves, Dollar General can buy inventory in enormous quantities at discount, rarely available to small businesses. They also use their market power to get priority access to scarce inventory from their suppliers, persuade manufacturers to make smaller packages, and strike other deals that are far out of reach of locally owned businesses. Locally owned businesses spend a large percentage of their profits locally. They pay rent, buy supplies, hire accountants, lawyers, and other professionals. They engage cleaning and trash collecting services. They buy advertising, pay utility services, pay property and sales tax. They support local school, civics, and charitable groups. They hire staff, and much more. They also support their owners' households, their staff's households, and the many local businesses from which those households pay for housing, transportation, food, clothing, personal and professional services, entertainment, education, and many other things. By contrast, only a modest percentage of a Dollar General's profits remain in the community. They flow back to the corporation, and the corporation then spends the profits on expansion, shareholder dividends, stock buyback to beef up their share price, and directors' compensation. Even their rent payments usually go to out-of-state developers who specialize in developing and leasing buildings to Dollar General. The only portions of their profits that typically remain local and benefit the community are utility payments, property tax, and salaries, all of which are also paid by locally owned businesses. The community ultimately loses wealth and gains nothing in return. Numerous studies have showed that roughly 45 to 60% of a dollar spent in a locally owned business remains and recirculates in the community, versus only 14 to 30% spent in chain stores. We simply do not need to increase commercialization in the Prairieton area. We believe that preserving the character of our residential community should take precedence over commercial expansion. Prairieton has been very fortunate in the last few years to be the home of new residential, beautiful subdivisions. We are happy to see new homes being built and residential growth in our area. For everyone who has recently built or purchased a home in the Prairieton community, it is the ideal of the rural lifestyle that's attracted them. It's up to you to keep the ideal free of unnecessary, redundant commercialization. We urge our elected decision makers to prioritize safety, environment preservation, and the wishes of Prairieton residents who value our rural lifestyle over commercial development. We urge you not just as fellow residents, but as stewards of this land we love so dearly. Stop Dollar General from building in our rural area. And I turned this in last week with some signed petitions. We have added numerous petitions, and we will talk about the petitions. But first we'll have Paul.
Good evening. My name is Paul Fouts, resident of 3915 Hotel Street in Prairieton. I am a resident of Prairieton. I am also a member of the Prairie Creek Fire Prevention District Board. We are the political subdivision that is for the Prairieton Fire District. So as we begin this evening, you heard Cindy's comments from the petition that we submitted to the Area Plan Commission. The discussion of the proposed subdivision and zoning change here has made quite a stir in our community. We have quite the representation this evening. So we ask that you please actively listen to all sides in this matter and make your choice when thinking of the community and its ways of life. Now that we have in front of the community a request for a local community member to help themselves in a troublesome time in the economy by working to sell land, I believe that I speak for the vast majority of residents that this is a free country and all part of the American dream. We're not looking to trample on those actions. Just a large portion of the community feels that that what would go on the property doesn't fit within our community. So what our community is in a state of growth with the addition of new homes and subdivisions in recent years, what is the draw for the area? Prairieton is on the edge of, in quotes, the country. We're the last real area with modern utilities, natural gas, city water, broadband internet, before you get out into the county, where it's real rural land, where you have electricity. Most further south of the area, that electricity is your major utility. So the draw is we provide that rural feel and sense of community with those amenities of being in town. So this evening you'll hear from gathered information all the way down to individual personal feelings. I would like to start the discussions from the committee in the ways of infrastructure and public safety. So for the proposed location in all of Prairieton, we do not hook up to the Terre Haute wastewater utility. We are all septic. Most of Prairieton has the availability of water from Indiana American Water since their purchase of the Prairieton Water Utility in 1992. The proposed location does have access to Indiana American Water via connection on Edison, which is the main feed for Prairieton. Due to the distance from the nearest water tower, the water pressure, the tower that services us is in the Vigo County Industrial Park, and that tower is fed from the Indiana American Water Tower in Youngstown. So we have less than optimal water pressure at nominal times. So I know for myself and many members, when the fire department is doing training or they hook up to the fire department and draft their pumper truck, we lose water. It just doesn't flow. So you can be in the middle of doing dishes, taking a shower, doing laundry, and you have no service whatsoever. So what does this do if the proposed commercial utility were to hook up to that utility? They probably wouldn't see any negative impact to their business because they would be straight off the tap, but then could affect services beyond that. So additionally, sorry, I lost myself here. So with public infrastructure, there was earlier said about the needs for the traffic study. So we're going to have Eddie speak about that a little bit more from our perspective. We didn't have that information prior to meeting this evening. So there is a huge variance in speeds in the proposed area that will definitely have to be looked at. For emergency services, since that would be provided by the Prairieton Fire Department, as my official involvement with the Fire Prevention District, I work with the department and the county to make sure that those services are dealt out to the community. So when we're referencing tax dollars, and this is kind of a more further thought as well, if Dollar General is to build on the location, will they seek for a tax abatement? And then if so, what will that do for emergency services? So if they get a tax abatement, they're not paying into the tax base for those services. So would you, if you were in those areas where you have a fire protection district and there was a entity that come in, would you ask if those services could be paid for if there's a tax abatement? We certainly hope that if that is the case and this is approved, that there be discussions for public service funding. Now for the elephant in the room is public safety. Generally around the Vigo County area, Dollar General and as well as other lower price stores tend to draw the attention of less trustworthy individuals. It's just the nature of the stores. If you had to choose to live in a more peaceful area and less densely populated area, would you like the potential of having unwanted behaviors invade your neighborhood? Does our community need to bring this upon ourselves? Quite frankly, I don't believe so. at what cost to the community, taxpayers, and the county's public safety, time and staff become involved in the decision-making process. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Some of you may have already seen the maps, but I'm going to go ahead.
Could you give us your name and address? just
I sure will, yes. My name's Eddie Adams. I live at 7847 South Patton Street, the west edge of Prairieton. It's a Terre Haute address, but I live in Prairieton. I've lived there for 42 years. My wife Susan and I raised our family there. I am going to go to these photos real quick. I'll talk about these a little bit, but I think maybe what Mr. Britton showed is similar photographs. The first one is looking south. As you come out of Prairieton, the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit begins, and then the proposed Dollar General is on the left-hand side where the cornfield is, which you're just south of the church at that point. The next photo down, you're looking back north toward the church, and then the proposed Dollar General is on the right-hand side, just beyond that fence row to the right. And then the second page shows, again, closer to the church, the Prairieton sign. And then the bottom photo is, again, looking south, just as you, the gate or the fence to at the church is on the left. And you can see there it begins 40 mile an hour, and then it eventually goes 55 mile an hour. Coming into Prairieton from the south, it's 55 mile an hour, and then it turns to 30, and that's what you're seeing by the Prairieton sign. So it's there's no transition there as far as the 40 mile an hour. It doesn't slow you down any. But I'll describe a little bit more here. I get the right specs on here. My comments are the proposed Dollar General is not only unsuitable location for safety concerns, but also a lack of need in the Prairieton community as well. The 42 years that I've lived in the area, driving back and forth to Terre Haute and then south to my house, the current Dollar General that's stationed located there at Spring Hill and 63 at the southeast corner is 4 miles, as we mentioned earlier, from Prairieton, and appears to provide many urgent household needs. But also, there's also a new current construction of a Bucks Marathon going into the northeast corner at that same location. So providing additional needs for those in the area of Prairieton. Once I became aware of the Dollar General, I immediately thought of traffic and safety concerns. The past 42 years, I've noticed significant increase in the traffic, not only the cars and pickup trucks, but also semi-traffic, hauling grain to the elevators and back and forth, along with fuel trucks. I'm talking large tankers, hauling gasoline back and forth from the Marathon Robinson plant, which we all know, I believe it's an 80,000 pound limit on semis. So we've also noticed, cars speeding through Prairieton. It's a 30 mile an hour speed limit in Prairieton, which rarely people slow down to 30 mile an hour. So coming south out of Prairieton, eventually, if the Dollar General does go in, and the speed limits continue to escalate as you go south, there's already issues. And usually, by the time I get to my community to turn off my road, I'm tailgated pretty close. And I think everybody pretty much notices people are driving much more aggressively these days for some reason. Looking at the proposed Dollar General site, there's no current roadside access for deceleration or acceleration on either side of 63. So that must be considered if the proposed Dollar General is built in the area. Approaching Dollar General from the south, a distance over 2 mile straightaway exists. So the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit turns to 30, as I mentioned, coming into Prairieton. So there's a lot of straightaway distance for traffic to obtain that 55-mile-an-hour speed or greater, usually much greater. Julie mentioned the church continues to replace a picket fence due to speeders' reckless driving, which is just north of the proposed driveway into the Dollar General. Coming to the close of my presentation, I emphasize on our safety concerns of children in our community. But we're fortunate and appreciate the presence of the George and Ida Smith Vigo County Park that sits on the east or west side of Prairieton, near the south end of Prairieton, that provides playground equipment, basketball court, a shelter. The park sits just 500 feet north of the proposed Dollar General on the west side of 63. So we're concerned about children, if the Dollar General goes in, walking across 63 or riding their bikes. And again, Julie mentioned there's no trails, no sidewalks. So there's definitely a safety concern there. With no bike paths or sidewalks leading to the proposed Dollar General or pedestrian access, we have extreme concerns for safety. My last 2 points: for years, NDOT, Department of Transportation, paints passing zones throughout the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit through Prairieton. Not only does the passing zones, one exists where Dollar General plans, one exists on the northbound lane directly in front of the park. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour through Prairieton, and the state has a passing zone, multiple passing zones. In conclusion, with everything discussed tonight, we would encourage all Area Plan Commission members to visit the site and see for yourselves our reasons for concern. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks. Thank you, President.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Lamberson, and I'm a realtor who lives just about a mile north of Prairieton. My address is 6445 South Allen Place. Most people are aware we are facing a housing shortage as a nation. While some of the country is moving towards a balanced market, Vigo County is still very much a seller's market. The National Association of Realtors uses absorption rate to help determine our current housing market. The absorption rate is a term used to describe the speed homes are sold in a specific market in a specific time frame. It's calculated by dividing the number of homes sold by the number of homes available within that specific time frame. A high absorption rate equals higher demand and fewer days on market. An absorption rate at or above 20% is typically considered a seller's market, and below 15% is considered a buyer's market. As of the end of August, Vigo County had a 47% absorption rate for single-family homes, condos, and townhomes. Month supply of inventory is another determinant of the housing market. Month supply of inventory refers to the number of months it would take for the current inventory of homes to sell given the current sales pace. 6-month supply is typically associated with moderate price appreciation, and a lower level of month supply tends to push prices up. Vigo County currently has just a little over 2 months supply of inventory. Small town rural living is attractive to many home buyers, and Prairieton currently offers that. It's a quiet, friendly, clean neighborhood with easy and close access to city amenities. The proposed Dollar General site would be better used for residential housing. There have only been 6 homes listed in the multiple listing service for Prairieton in the last 3 months. Of those 6, 4 have sold or gone under contract in an average time of market of just 5 days. That's from the time the listing contract was signed to an accepted offer. South Haven subdivision will be greatly impacted by the Dollar General. 3 of our neighbors paid close to $300,000 for their homes, and they are now facing the possibility that they will lose their beautiful scenic views to the back of a commercial building. That area of Prairieton is extremely attractive to home buyers. In South Haven subdivision alone, 13 homes have sold within the last 3 years, with 10 being new constructions. Out of the 8 listed in the multiple listing service, 4 sold at or above asking price, with an average time on market of less than 2 months. That doesn't take into account homes that were listed prior to completion. We don't need another Dollar General so close to us. We need homes, and this land would be better suited for adding neighbors, not a discount chain store. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Travis Clymer. I live at 8490 South Edison Place. Today I want to address a critical issue affecting many of our communities. It's the impact of dollar stores, just in general, and the surrounding property values. These stores have become increasingly prevalent in our neighborhoods, and it's essential to understand their far-reaching implications. 1, the property value impact. Studies have shown that the presence of Dollar General stores can significantly diminish property values in their vicinity. Research from Clemson University found that nearby dollar stores reduced property values by 16 to 21% in a study that was conducted from 2016 to 2019. The decline in the residential property values are due to 3 things: perception of lower quality retail options, potential increase in crime rates, and aesthetic concerns due to utilitarian designs and bright signage. These dollar stores also have a horrible habit of targeting vulnerable communities. They drive out local businesses that provide higher quality goods and services. They reduce the attractiveness of neighborhoods to potential home buyers and investors. The economic implications. So we've heard that there are some good things about these dollar stores. You know, they're quick and easy. You can stop by and grab whatever. And that's a short-term benefit, but the long-term concerns, there's limited job creation. Typically, they offer low-wage positions, reduced contributions to the local tax base compared to other businesses, and potential negative impacts on public services and infrastructure maintenance. Furthermore, dollar stores can disrupt local business ecosystems by competing directly with small, independently owned businesses. The loss of diverse local shopping options can make an area less attractive to potential home buyers and investors, further influencing property values. Across this great nation, there have been communities that have mitigated these negative effects, and they've done it in 3 ways. They have implemented zoning restrictions, which I would ask the body to do tonight. They've enforced design requirements and limited the density of dollar stores in certain areas. In conclusion, while dollar stores may provide convenient and affordable shopping options, their overall impact on surrounding property values and local economies is largely negative. As we consider the future development of our neighborhoods, it's crucial to weigh these factors and strive for a balance that promotes both economic growth and community well-being. We must work together to ensure that our communities thrive, supporting local businesses and maintaining property values. By making informed decisions about the businesses we allow in our neighborhoods, we can create a vibrant, economically healthy communities that benefit all residents. The residents of Prairieton have spoken. We do not want this store nor any commercial chain in our town. Thank you for your attention to this issue.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary Drake. I live at 3617 West Astor Drive, which is on the north edge of Perth. I'm going to read a letter from Elizabeth A. Anderson to the Vigo County Area Planning Commission, County Commissioners. This letter concerns the proposed zoning change for parcel, you know the parcel number, of which a subdivision designated RSBR, Prairieton subdivision sub, was submitted for alteration from an AC to a C2 with the intention to construct a Dollar General store on the site. This proposal raises red flags for me at personal and community levels. As a civic-minded individual, I object to Dollar's predatory marketing model and recurrent OSHA violations, which are a matter of public record. The company also engages in practices of negotiating tax abatements, constructing stores that operate until the abatement expires, and then vacate those sites to repeat the cycle at a nearby location. This recently occurred in Vigo County when the Dollar General at 63 and Johnson relocated approximately a half a mile down the road to Highway 63 at Spring Hill Drive. I find this plan obsolescent and serial vampirism of the community tax base unacceptable. I have personal interest in this development impact on adjacent farmland, particularly because the proposed well, septic field, and southeast corner of the 8,100 square foot structure are sited barely 10 feet from the shared property line. Problematic issues include the potential for littering, hazardous runoff, soil percolation, and destruction of the tree and shrub row that currently deters trespassers serve as a wildlife habitat, windbreak, and soil anchor to reduce erosion. Other agricultural parcels along this South 61 have suffered from commercial rezoning in recent years, and the consequences of injudicious development are readily apparent. Farm work at these locations has become hampered by construction, access points, low lines, utility lines, wind-blown trash, and other refuse that threatens to damage implements, leading to work delays, costly repairs. I do not relish the prospect of urban blight spoiling yet another field. As a community member, I consider the construction of a Dollar General store in this location to be redundant. Two other Dollar Generals exist less than 4.5 miles away. Several other convenience stores operate nearby. Commercial development at this location also threatens to place pedestrian bicycle access is non-existent. Additional traffic entering and leaving the site will only increase these hazards. Furthermore, independent value studies verify that Dollar General stores in particular attract littering, loitering, shoplifting, armed robbery, and other criminal activities due to endemic understaffing and substandard security measures. This site lies in a residential neighborhood next door to a church and nearly adjacent to the town park, all of which will suffer from proximity to alcohol sales and other unwholesome changes that often accompany Dollar General development. Prairieton lacks sufficient resources to search the neighborhood for such liabilities. This is far too high a price to pay for the convenience of buying a gallon of milk next door, especially we can already shop at multiple locations within a 5-minute drive. Dollar General represents the Tribune Star's article about our objection with canned assurance, community benefits such as job creation, participate in the Literacy Foundation. While literacy programs often offer a commendable public relations opportunity. Our community already qualifies for these due to the operation of numerous stores within a 15-mile radius. The Vigo County School Corporation currently receives Dollar General adult education grants. This construction of more Dollar General stores would not alter our eligibility for these grants. Regarding job creation, as of 2022, Dollar General operated 19,147 stores nationwide, employing roughly 2,000 people. This averages to fewer than 9 employees per store, most of whom are restricted to part-time work at well below hourly compensation. Dollar General Corporation might better serve our community by fully staffing existing stores and paying associates a living wage. Finally, and perhaps the most important, my objections do not exit in a vacuum. Although we would welcome low-density residential development and small family-owned businesses, an overwhelming majority of us do not want a Dollar General store in our community. Please review the attached screenshot of any informal Facebook poll among Creighton area residents demonstrating that 84% respondents opposed to this rezoning construction. In closing, I petition the Vigo County Area Planning Commission and County Commissioners to weigh the needs of the many against the greed of a few when deliberating this proposed zoning change, to uphold our collective determination to keep Prairie and Prairieton. Respectfully, Elizabeth A. Anderson. Did I bring anything else up here? Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Richmond. I live at 10131 South Edison Place. I live in the south side of Prairieton Township. I'm here to give you a quick update on our going around and getting people to sign our petition to not have the dollar store built in Prairieton. We focused a lot of our concentration within a 2-mile radius of where the proposed site's going to be, because that's the majority where the homes are located in Prairieton Township. With a focus in Prairieton itself, north and south of 63, down Edison, and there's a large quantity of homes next to Hoosier Prairie Elementary School. So you can see by the maps, which is included in the handouts we gave you guys, in a little over a week's time, we've amassed quite a few signed petitioners. We're getting close to 50% of the housing in this 2-mile circle. Also included in the packet that I handed out is an updated list of signatures from the website change.org that's been updated since we previously submitted last week to you guys. And we're up to over 180 signatures on change.org alone, not counting the hand signatures that we already got. I do want to point out on that list that several of the names have random cities listed to it, and that's because of the PO of the internet service that they were using. So a majority of these people do live in Prairieton and surrounding areas. I don't have an official number on that, but I just want to point that out. Some of those cities are out there. But at the end of the packet I just handed out is also comments of the signed petitioners that use the change.org website, where they listed out very specific reasons for concern for changing this zoning. If you could please read those and consider those in your decision. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Once again, I'm Cindy Morgan, representing the Board of Trustees, Prairieton Church. The petition that I read prior to this was consensus of the team members And this is basically the church's response to the proposal. I'm a trustee at the Prairie United Methodist Church, which has been on the corner of Kennett and 63 before there was a Kennett or a 63. We've been there since 1838. The proposed Dollar General abuts our south lawn. Puritan folks have heard our bell ring every Sunday service since 1838. We wake them up. You might as well get up and go to church. You're already awake. We're part of the fiber of the Puritan community. Even if you have never been in our building, you know us as a landmark on the corner with the red roof. We hope you've attended some of our outreach events. The life of Puritan Church depends on the folks, families, and all the people who live in and around the community. We believe the more homes, the better. As a church, we support folks and small businesses in and around Prairieton. The small businesses add to the character of our quaint town. You can get your car fixed at Easy Maintenance, get a chair recovered at the upholstery shop if he's open. Order your wedding cake at the Red Room Cakery, build with Chambers Construction, truck with Robert Patterson Trucking, store your stuff at the storage, and get new gutters at Seamless Gutters. Your kids can play at the George and Ida Smith Park, and you can take a quiet stroll through Prairieton Cemetery. I'm the head of the Prairieton Cemetery Board. Our volunteer fire department is a great community asset, integral to our residents, and the U.S. Post Office is the place to find out what's going on. Prairieton United Methodist Church has always been here. We plan to always be here in one way or another. We see the building of a Dollar General abutting our south property as negatively impacting Prairieton community and us. As a church trustee, I'll bring to your attention the detrimental effects on our property, and as a member of our outreach committee, I'll express our dismay about the adverse effects of a Dollar General on our traditional outside events, which occur both during the day and at night on our south lawn. The Board of Trustees is concerned with the Dollar General adding to the dangerous traffic patterns and the effects of the traffic in the already accident-prone area 63 in Kennett. Historically, there have been so many wrecks on our property and into our fence, as I mentioned earlier, that the board decided to take down the fence, the most accident-prone part of the fence. Our fence still exists on the south side of our property. It gets hit, but not as much as the one right in front of us did. Now that the fence is gone, vehicles hit the telephone pole on the corner, and then they take out our banner that's posted on the front of our property, and sometimes the vehicles end up spinning out in our parking lot. The accidents and damages are not always reported to the sheriff, as the cost in our increase in liability outweighs the deductible, so we pay for the property damage ourselves. In addition, the fact that there are no sidewalks leading to the proposed Dollar General means that pedestrians, most likely the children in the community, will be walking, riding their bikes, using their four-wheelers, their golf carts, their gators, those off-road dirt bikes that are so noisy, across our property as a shortcut. It's safer than walking on the side of 63 in that area to get to the store. Our insurance agent said that our liability may go up with more pedestrians using it as a shortcut. It would really be the only way to get there, unless you want to take your life in your own hands. In addition, we are concerned with the environmental effects on our property from a Dollar General next door. We petitioned for an environmental study to be performed to investigate what the commercial well will do to water well levels. In addition, the environmental study must investigate if the commercial septic system will have a negative effect on groundwater quality. We petitioned that the developer test for percolation to ensure retention ponds don't flood. The church's septic system is located on the south side of the building. We're concerned with any disturbance of that system. Don't touch it. As trustees charged with the maintenance of the church, we've always dealt with the trash and litter that comes from being next to Highway 63. A Dollar General next door will add to the problem of windblown trash and other refuse. Moreover, one of our biggest objections is the sale of alcohol at a neighboring Dollar General. We believe that bringing easy access to alcohol to Prairieton is a dangerous proposition. We ask that a liquor license not be granted to this store, as it will be within 200 feet of our southern boundary. Prairieton Church's 5-year plan for growth calls for a building to the north side of the boundary, putting the Dollar General within 200 feet of a church wall. You may not be aware that Prairieton Church is in use typically every day for our wide range of activities. We are not only open on Sunday and Wednesday night. We open our doors and outdoors for community meetings and events, carry-in dinners, weddings, funerals, funeral wakes and receptions, baby and wedding showers, family reunions, and events that are too big for the average home. We are currently home to the Prairieton Cemetery Board, Mothering as a Career Club, Brownies, Daisies, the Western Riders has met here, and we've hosted Boy Scouts in the past. We offer Bible study classes and prayer meetings. They're praying for us right now, by the way. As I mentioned, we see community outreach as one of our most important goals for growth in our 5-year plan. Our outside events will suffer the most from having a Dollar General next to our south lawn, and that will hurt us greatly. A lot of people don't want to come in the church, but they will join us in our outdoor activities, in our outreach, and that's where we meet as a community. The south lawn of the church is the only area with enough space to hold our outreach events. We have children and adults on that lawn for VBS, Sunday school games, ice cream socials, picnics, pet blessing animal activities, and the 4th of July, very popular 4th of July bike parade lineup. This year we had 26 participants, 1 politician. With a Dollar General retention area and a busy parking lot on our south boundary, what's to keep the children and pets safe? Will Dollar General commit to putting up and maintaining a vinyl 6-foot privacy fence for the safety of our members and guests? In addition, we are most proud of our night events. For these, we need the grace of darkness that you can only get in the countryside. Our 2024 Eclipse event brought in visitors from as far away as, here I say St. Louis, but then I remember we'd have some people from Virginia who were looking for a unique viewing opportunity without the headache of city traffic. We had approximately 200 guests at that event. It was a memorable success. It couldn't have occurred if Dollar General had been our neighbor with its 24-hour fluorescent glare. We also offer stargazing when the heavens are right, fall bonfires, wiener roasts, and a bean cooking dinner that David Phelps used to cook the beans, so we're going to miss him dearly. We miss him at this meeting also. Sorry. A cozy bonfire just isn't the same in the fluorescent glare of Dollar General lights. Our Christmas Eve by candlelight will lose the grace of darkness, and Easter sunrise service will lose the wonder of darkness to light. These are traditional events that have occurred at Prairieton Church for more than 100 years. Please don't replace God's gift of our night darkness with a Dollar General 24-hour fluorescent glare. Thank you.
Do we have anybody that has anything to do? We've got 5 other items on the agenda. There are other petitioners waiting, so we probably need to focus on new information. If you got it prepared, we're happy to hear of it. will have to move on.
I understand completely.
Okay.
For what it's worth, I need to get out of here pretty quick too, because otherwise my children will kill me. They're bored out of their minds. Homeschooling, what are you going to do? But I did want to, I'm not going to give you papers. I'm not going to give you a prepared statement. I don't have any of that. What I will do is I'm sitting here back thinking, I'm like, the one thing I can offer here is perspective. And that's really all I can offer. Well, I saw the pictures and everything like that, and honestly, if you look in the background, you see the big teal barn. That one's mine. I'm at 8376 South Edison Place. Our lawyer friend here, he talks about the 500 feet. I love that number. It's clever. It is. I could also say 6,000 inches, but the reality is those of us who like to shoot and hunt, we would use yards, and that's 166 yards. That's nothing. It's a football field and a half, and a little bit more. I shoot deer at that range. It's nothing. Likewise, he likes to talk about the trees and the thick. As soon as those leaves fall off, you realize those trees ain't that thick. You can see light very clearly. I can see the cars going from one side to the other every night as soon as the corn gets knocked down. And I can tell you this: I'm a transplant here. We moved here from Albuquerque. As soon as I got out of the service, I moved here so I could go to Rose-Hulman. And the first thing we said to our realtor, put us somewhere in the country. I don't want to be in town. If I would have moved, if she would have shown me this place and there's a Dollar General there, I would have told her to pound sand. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something in the country. I want to be out. I don't want any of that. None of us want any of that. My kids play in my yard. They play on this road, and even that, any of us who have been parents, we're nervous. They will ride down to that park. I'm not going to let them do that anymore with the Dollar General there. I know the people around here. I trust them. The people who are going to come in with the Dollar General, I don't trust them. These are strangers. Would you? And the last thing that I would offer, it was Mr., and I hope I don't murder this, Mr. Klinkenbeard. Yes? Pretty close. All right. That is a fantastic name. But I liked the question that you asked. You asked, who are we going to call if there's a problem? Who are we going to go to? And he says, well, there's an on-site manager. I was 19 when I had my first management position, and I can tell you this, I was not equipped to deal with adults. I'm 43 now. I'm still not sure I'm ready to deal with adults. But the fact of the matter is, we've all been to a Dollar General. And they're wonderful people that work there, sure. But they don't know me, and I don't know them, and I don't trust them. I trust them to check me out and be on my way. I'm sorry. It's not like they're not convenient. They are. But their convenience means nothing in the face of the impact that this is going to have, especially if I ever try to sell my property. I'm not going to be able to tell someone they're out in the country. Sort of. Really, like I said, that's all I want to do. I just want to offer a bit of perspective. I'm not going to give you all of the traffic stuff and everything like that. You've heard enough. But I am somebody who cares about my children. I care about the community that I've moved to. And more in all of that, it all comes down to one thing. We don't want it. We don't need it. I appreciate your time, and I do apologize for having to get out of here before they vote. I hope you'll forgive me and my children.
Thank you.
I'll have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, one more, and then we'll give a...
I won't take much of your time. Thank you for being patient and listening to all of us. My name is Richard Charles Marshall, Jr. I have been a resident of the Perryton area for the last 35 years. I grew up, my kids were raised out there, everybody was raised out there. I own the Alan D. McQueen Community Hope Center, which used to be the Prairie Park Baptist Church on the corner of 63 and True Blood. I have a lot of sweat placed into that place, making that place look so beautiful and upkeep. So that's beside the point. I want to stress, being in the military all my life, I cannot stress enough safety, safety, safety. South 63 from the old Dead Man's Curve all the way through Perryton is dangerous. Yes, you're gonna build it, they wanna build a Dollar General down there. Are they gonna put turning lanes in? Are they gonna put sidewalks in? Are they gonna put a bike lane in? Because if they're saying that most of the people in the area will walk to Dollar General, they're gonna get hit out there. I drive from 63 and True Bud to Kenneth Street, which is south, just about a mile. I turned on my turn signal to turn left to go to Edison. I don't know how many times I almost got rear-ended. In my blind spot, people pass you on that road going south in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. So we do not want no Dollar General in our area. It will drop our property so much that it's just terrible. We don't want it. We don't want no Dollar General. And I don't think we deserve a Dollar General. We shouldn't have to have a Dollar General. That's all I got, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lou, take an opportunity to maybe address some of the issues they've brought up.
I'll give it a go.
Give it a go.
I won't promise you I'll be able to speak to everything because I probably lost track of some things somewhere along the way. I may kind of go in reverse order. With regard to traffic, which came up repeatedly, NDOT has to approve the access to this property. It's a state road. They can't put in an access until NDOT approves it. NDOT's not going to approve something where you just suddenly have to slam on your brakes and turn off the road. They're probably going to require deceleration and acceleration lanes. Keep in mind, I'm sorry?
No more comments from the public. We sat here and we listened to you for an hour and a half and respected it. Now you'll respect the petition.
You have to also keep in mind, and we talked about this earlier in another context, this is not a destination store. This is not like Walmart. We're not going to create a bunch of traffic coming from somewhere to go to that store. They're going to probably already be going by anyway. It's not going to create a huge increase in traffic for that store. A couple of the complaints we heard were, well, you know, the speed limit goes up right out of town. Well, you know, one of the things NDOT could do is extend the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit down to the store in order to make getting to the store safer, which would benefit the town. They might also, I would think probably almost certainly, if there's a problem with passing in front of this proposed location, they would probably eliminate the passing in that area. So, in effect, it may improve the situation with regard to traffic. It's not going to add traffic. The petition, there are a number of people who don't have addresses. I tried to look up some of the names, just picking names out of a hat. I found names from as far away as 7 and 8 miles. This is the petition that's part of the internet petition. I've highlighted on here in pink the people who signed this petition who do not live in the state of Indiana. They're not affected by this. Now, and we heard a lot just recently about we're not going to be able to have campfires, we're not going to be able to see the sun, stars, and moon. Lights go out a little after 9 p.m., which is closing time. They close by the time the employees leave, the lights are out. So, wiener roasts are on. With regard to a privacy fence, that's the first I've heard of that. I certainly know the developer will be happy to talk to the neighbors if there is some concern about a privacy fence, which could help. Obviously, you can't fence off the entrance to the place. You want people to get in. But I'm sure they'll talk with them about a privacy fence. In terms of Mr. Klinkenberg's question, I think probably the better answer from me to that question would be, we'll see to it that they post a phone number in the store for someone to call if they have a problem with the store. We'll be happy to do that. One thing that was repeated several times, we'd welcome more residences or a small family-owned business. Unless the Area Plan Commission is going to declare a moratorium on rezonings for non-small family-owned businesses, that's not the job of Area Plan. The Area Plan Commission is not supposed to say, oh, well, you're a small family-owned business, so you're okay. You're not a small family-owned business, so we don't want you. That's not what planning and zoning is about. Fundamentally, that's not what it's about. Turning to the very first petition. We talked about the traffic a little bit. We're not going to add to the traffic. It's a state road. Whatever's there is there. It's not a destination. The state's going to address those questions. The well water question, I don't know which way to go on this. One, it's a problem because we're going to put in a well. Two, it's a problem because we're going to tap onto the town's water supply. Fact of the matter is, it doesn't make a bit of difference. A Dollar General uses about 200 gallons of water a day. The average household uses 300. I think everybody to a person said they would welcome another residential property. They're going to use more water than the Dollar General, whether it's coming out of a well or coming out of the water supply. Again, the septic system will have to meet state standards. Indiana has some of the toughest state standards for septic systems. Those are overseen by at both the state and federal level. The detention pond, retention pond, the design and implementation of that has to be approved by the state and local officials based on standards that are fixed. The engineers understand them. Don't ask me to explain them. All I know is that when you get all said and done, you're supposed to design a detention pond so that at the end of the day, this property will not shed more water than it does now within a 24-hour period of time. It will be designed to do that. It's not going to cause flooding. In terms of additional loads on the volunteer fire department, the police and fire, I don't see a big difference between new houses going in and a Dollar General store. Whether we need another Dollar General, again, that's Dollar General's decision. That's not a zoning decision. If people think they're being taken advantage of by Dollar General's pricing policies, they don't have to shop there. Nobody's making them shop there. They don't have to. But on the other hand, we heard that the way they price things makes them so attractive that they're running other people out of business. Well, that's good for the consumer, isn't it? I'm sorry. So, and then there was the pay question. They don't pay enough. Well, again, they pay what they need to pay in order to keep their workers. It's not a zoning decision to decide, well, I like what you pay, I don't like what you pay. I'm going to approve your application and not approve your application based on what you pay. Those are not zoning decisions. I'm sorry, I had to. Yep, I think that's it.
Anyone on the planning commission have any final questions?
I have a question for Lou and a comment. I'm going to start with a comment. I hear a lot of traffic concerns from existing. I don't know if anybody's reached out to NDOT, but NDOT has a great service called NDOT 4U, the number 4, the letter U. You can Google it. I don't know the phone number off the top of my head. I think it's 855 NDOT 4U. They're extremely receptive and responsive, so if you have concerns and you're living with them, like I said, I don't know if anybody's reached out, but it's not hard to do. So it's not a bad idea. with some of these things you brought up, because safety is important. And then the question I have for Lou is, you mentioned lights out at 9, does that include signage?
Yes,
But-
9 PM and an opening, which is typically 8 AM.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
Any other discussion, complaint, commission members? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the subdivision, a favorable recommendation.
We have a motion for approval of the subdivision and a favorable recommendation for the zoning. We have a second. We have a second. Those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
One. You. Two? No. Mark? The record shows Mark is in opposition, and I believe we have, that passes. 9. The motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda under subdivisions, major, primary, secondary, docket number 65, file number 37, 2024, Menards Lot 4A.
The property is an outlot in front of the Menards South location, 1.781 acres. The surveyor is Mr. Higbee. The request is to subdivide 1.781 acres, creating one new outlot for commercial development. Health Department has approved, a sanitary sewer is available, public water is available. It's not in a flood zone. The lot exceeds the minimum lot size requirement. The area is well served with utilities. Stormwater drainage will be required with the subdivision. This area has been identified as a commercial hub. All utilities are available and should be able to handle additional commercial development. So we offered a favorable on the primary and secondary with approval of the drainage erosion control plan, bonding for infrastructure if needed, fire department approval, and for it to be recorded within 90 days.
Is petitioner present?
Hello, my name is Tim Higbee, and I'm a surveyor with Survey First and representing McDonald's. Thank you, President and Plan Commission, for taking the time to hear this tonight. I don't have much more to add than what we just heard, other than this was a property that is pretty much ready for some type of use than this being McDonald's. This was a larger piece of property, and McDonald's did not need the entire piece of the property. It was called Lot 4, and it's adjacent to Casey's in the Menards shopping area. McDonald's did not need the entire Lot 4, so in order for them to purchase a smaller piece of property, we needed to subdivide off this parcel, make it smaller to fit their need, and then this will obviously leave another piece for something else or for Menards. I believe as far as the drainage goes, the drainage was already with the subdivision. It was part of the original plat. Then Casey's came in and replatted that whole section with the drainage pond and the drainage area. And then we took part of Casey's replat, which is Lot 4, divided it. We are just taking what we call 4A, Lot 4A. So, and it does have a drainage easement that connects to the pond. So, and that's really all I've got to add. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions from the Plan Commission on this subdivision? Anyone here speaking in opposition to this request? I'll entertain a
Motion to approve?
Second. Those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item under county rezoning, docket number 66, UZO number 14, 2024, 11583 South US Highway 41 from an A1 to a C7 General Commercial District.
The property is located on the west side of Highway US 41, approximately 1,851 feet south of Oregon Church Road. It's currently A1, proposed zoning is C7 for portable buildings, carports, fits, sales office. Surrounding uses are all agricultural, except to the east is a C3. The property was rezoned in 2003 to allow for a retail establishment for fence, decking, trailer sales, and modular sales office. It's since become a location of portable buildings, carports, and fencing sales. The property owner has expanded the display area and wishes to rezone the new area to allow for continuation of the existing use. We offered a favorable recommendation on the rezoning request. We did receive one letter of remonstrance from a gentleman whose property line is 775 feet from the expansion. His concerns were citing light, noise, traffic, as well as he states that the use does not satisfy any current unmet need of the area.
Okay. It's actually being used for what it's going to be used for right now.
It's already in use as such, yes.
Okay. Is the petitioner present? Did you have anything you needed to add? Okay. 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 Anyone on the planning commission have any questions?
Just a quick question, more for Jared. It's a little hard to tell. I'm assuming this is that north section to the north property line?
Correct.
That's shaded slightly different?
Yes.
Okay, that's what.
Anyone here speaking in opposition to this request? Not all entertain a motion.
Move for a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Those in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Next item under county rezoning docket number 68, UZO number 15, 2024 Erie Canal Road from a C2 to a C3 regional commercial district.
So the location is on Erie Canal Road. The site is located north of 4495 Erie Canal Road. The current zoning is C2, the proposed zoning C3 for retail sales, and we'll welcome back Mr. Britton. The area is identified as suburban residential, though it has become something of a commercial node there. The petitioner is requesting to rezone from a C2 to C3 for the proposed use as of a retail store. The property is in a special flood hazard area. Accordingly, a detailed site plan will be required to ensure the new structure and any other developments on the property meets all requirements of the flood hazard ordinance for Eagle County. An initial grading plan was previously submitted for the project that did not meet requirements. Residential does adjoin immediately to the west. Special attention should also be paid to noise, light, and pollution intruding into the surrounding neighborhood. A type C buffer will be required and is depicted on the site plan. Hard surfacing of all public use areas is required. Concern is the plan to utilize 19th Street for ingress egress. Limiting access to just Erie Canal would be a safeguard for the residents behind the development. 19th is not constructed to handle commercial traffic. There is an existing route cut on Erie Canal. However, county engineering may request improvements be made to safely facilitate the additional commercial ingress egress. We've seen a number of these similar type developments outlying areas of Eagle County in the past few years. The business model is for those types of stores to places convenience within reach of areas not otherwise served. So we did offer a favorable recommendation on the request with the county engineer's review of the drive applications. Any improvements needed to Erie Canal will need to facilitate safe ingress egress, approval of stormwater water and retention designs, a combination of the two parcels into one lot, the type C buffer yard where residential adjoins, and any development must also meet the requirements of the flood hazard ordinance for Vigo County.
Mr. Britton?
In case you've forgotten, I'm still Lou.
You're still Lou Britton.
President and Commission, I'm here representing the petitioner on this project. I've got my lungs.
We'd rather have it short. Believe me, we will understand.
This property's already zoned commercial C2. It needs to bump up to C3 only because our planned facility is in excess of 10,000. It's a rather unusually shaped parcel. I don't know whether you can see it on here. It starts here, runs all along now, back here, down to 19th Street, then over around this end, down here and over here. Oddly shaped parcel. In the area, you can see there's a C2, there's a gas station right here, which I've got a picture of. There's a C7 here, C3 over here. This is ag. tried to take them from the road out there, almost out on Old Country. I'd like to put two pictures on it. You can't tell much about the site. It's very overgrown, rocky lawn. It requires serious.
Yeah, you would know them too.
The other side, I've got a photo of the service station at the intersection with Spring Hill. It's next, basically the next parcel south of this. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Also here is Dave Eager, if you've got any engineering questions.
Any questions for them? Anyone here speaking in opposition to this request? There.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item under county rezoning docket number 69, UZO number 16, 2024, 4501 and 4603 North Rivers Avenue from an R3 to a C3 regional commercial district.
The property is located on the northeast corner of South Fruit Ridge Street and East Haythorne Avenue, and just south of East Hollywood Avenue. It's currently R3 multifamily residential, proposed zoning C3 regional commercial district for retail sales, represented by Mr. Britton. This area has been identified as suburban residential. Street access will be off North Fruit Ridge. There's a mix of surrounding uses. Residential is to the north and to the west. To the south is a city zoning for heavy industrial plant development. West is industrial, east is commercial, and then also residential. The petitioner is requesting rezoning to C3 Regional Commercial District for the proposed use of a retail sales store, Dollar General. The C3 zoning for this location was selected based on the square footage of 10,000 square feet, being the maximum allowed in the C2. The property was last rezoned in 2007 to be used for additional residential housing. That project never materialized. Residential does adjoin immediately to the north, east, and west. Special attention should be paid to noise and light pollution intruding into the surrounding neighborhood. A type C buffer will be required and is depicted on the site plan. Fruit Ridge is narrow at this location. County engineering may request improvements be made to safely facilitate the additional commercial egress. We have seen a number of these similar developments in outlying areas of Bingo County in the past few years. The business model for this type of store places convenience within the reach of areas not otherwise served. Common concerns can be raised with this location, as have been with previous locations. Items such as trash, light, and landscaping may need to be addressed. As with any commercial development, hard surface parking will be required. Bingo County engineering must approve a stormwater drainage and erosion control plan. We did offer a favorable recommendation with county engineering's review of the dry cut location. Any improvements needed to Fruit Ridge Avenue to facilitate the safe egress, approval of stormwater and retention designs, a combination of the parcel into one lot, and a type C buffer yard where residential is.
Still with Rick.
Once again, I'm still with Rick. Once again, thank you, staff, for your wonderful report. Everyone's going on. Okay. This is the property right here. This is the old wigwam. That probably means something to some of you, right? Okay, so now you know where we're at. Across the street, this property is zoned empty. Land development. Very large parcel, right in front. This parcel here behind the wigwam is C7, primarily warehouse. Parcel across the street is some kind of industrial M1. There's another M1 here, and there's a large M1 down here. So, that's the site. This is a picture of the existing dwelling that sits right at the corner, right here. That will be the lot. This picture is taken looking basically from, you can see the corner of the house right here, and this corner of the house. So I'm looking back at the property. Approximate location towards. These photos This is looking a little northwest. This is the structure on the back of the property that will be demolished also, so there's going to be some nice cleanup done. This is the property immediately across the street, industrial. This is the field south of the property, crossing that is known industrial. That looks to be farm structure.
It is a farm field. It was part of a development that has not gone past the railroad tracks yet. It was all zoned quite some time ago, but that's why. The commercial development or the industrial development you see to the south of the railroad tracks, they own the same property that it is currently. And Forsyth is across the street. Yeah, very
Yes, Forsyth.
Yeah. Any questions from anyone on the line? Anyone here speaking in opposition to this? Sure. Sure.
I live up in that area on Hollywood Avenue, half a block away from this. My name's Barbara Wiley. I've been up there 44 years on my little property. And my only concerns, if they do put this in, would be how to get in and out of that place. Because Hollywood Avenue, right where I'm at right now, with that roundabout, the way it is, there's been so many wrecks happening there already. You can't see, those cars fly coming north on there when they get around that roundabout. Or they fly going to the roundabout going to town. And my concern is, how are people gonna get in and out of this place? If they're gonna have to come in off Hollywood Avenue to get into this place?
You may not have seen, there is a site plan. Oh, he's got it, okay.
They're not gonna have enough time to get away from that roundabout, to get in there. That's awful close. If that, it's not as big as you're showing it on there. I would be concerned how much traffic's gonna be coming back going north to get into that place. Semis coming, I wanna be able to get in and out of my street without getting killed either direction. For the people coming into this place, or me going out to go to town or going north on on Fruit Ridge. That's a busy intersection right there, just with that roundabout. Your drawing looks really, really big.
Well, it's done, it's game.
Yeah, I know, honey. I watched the guy build it when he was surveying it. But I'm just saying, that's all of my concerns. But
Okay.
I just want to know,
Sure.
check it out.
Yeah, it looks like access will be off Fruit Ridge Avenue, and that has been an eyesore site that used to be a trailer
yeah,
park
trailer park.
for many years.
44 years, I think.
Yeah.
City engineering department will have to approve that.
Right.
So they'll make sure that.
I mean, we don't need another one. We got one a mile away.
Oh, that's right, county, I'm sorry.
I'm in the county. I'm in the county.
You're in the
On the other
county,
side of
that's
the
right.
street.
That's right.
They forget about us out there.
They'll make sure that they keep it far enough away that it won't be a hazard.
And I'll add, I've got a lot of faith in the county engineer. He's good at what he does.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? There's no one else.
Second.
Call it, okay, motion.
You got one in a second.
Oh, you got one?
In a second. No one listens.
I was taking a small nap, so, sorry. We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I left my wife at the sick in the pub. She's going to kill me.
Next item under county rezoning docket number 71, UZO number 18, 2024, 6622 North Marmon Court from an R1 to an R2, two-family residential district.
Yes, Mr. and Mr. Evans, who have been quite patient with us this evening, we thank you for that. Do live at 6622 North Marmon Court. It is R1, their proposed zoning is R2, two-family residential. The petitioners have requested to rezone their property to remodel a portion of an existing detached garage into a livable space for a family member. A variance has been applied for through the Board of Zoning Appeals for the reduction from the 25-foot rear yard setback. The property exceeds the minimum lot size requirement for new R2 two-family residential lots. The nearest R2 zoning is 625 feet to the northwest on Philbeck. Those duplexes were constructed in 1993. The original subdivision was platted in 1967. Since then, there has been 4 additional phases, all single-family residential, with the exception of the replat, which was to accommodate the duplexes built in 1993. It's apparent that the intent of the developer and the subsequent build-out is for single-family. The neighborhood has remained as such now for nearly 50-plus years, and staff sees no immediate need to allow for densities to increase at this location. There is concerning over spot zoning, however, staff is of the opinion that this petition would not alter the general characteristics of the neighborhood. Sewer is available, the public water is not, so IDAM will have to approve of the semi-public water system. We did offer a favorable recommendation with the Board of Zoning Appeals approval for the needed variance excuse me, to bring the property into compliance with UZO standards. The converted garage must be inspected and found to be a habitable structure being constructed in keeping with Indiana Residential Building Code. Building permits must be issued for the converted livable building, and IDEM will have to approve of the semi-public utility design.
Anything you'd like to add?
Pretty
after
much says it all.
this?
Bringing my brother-in-law in from Texas, he's by himself with his 2 dogs, and he's in poor health, and we just want to get him closer. He'll have a garage. Half of the building is 60 by 28. Half of the building will be a studio apartment, and the other half will be my use of it, and there'll be a garage for him to park in and a little workshop and storage. That's
Okay.
so he'll have everything but a 10 by 15 area in that building.
Okay.
So
Any questions from staff? Anyone on the commission? No. Anyone here speaking in opposition to this? I'll entertain a motion. Those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you for your
thank you.
patience.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.